What's going on, everybody? Okay, so we see the new iPhone come out, iPhone 8, iPhone X. People are calling it iPhone 10. I didn't watch the news conference of when they released it, so I don't know if it's the X or the 10. I don't know. Whichever one. iPhone X, iPhone 10, whatever you want to call it. Question is still the same. Is this just a glorified spying device? What do I mean by that? Is this just a device that is being masked as something that we need, as far as a smartphone, digital assistant, personal digital assistant, PDA, whatever you want to call it? Is this iPhone X really made to be spying on us? Is that the main purpose of this new phone? More so than the other phones that we've had, which a lot of people could argue that even the current iPhones now are just glorified spying devices used to log, track, and mine our data, to track, to see what we're doing, to sell products to us, and sometimes something more sinister as controlling and social engineering the populace at large. So one of the main features that's causing concern here is basically the facial recognition features that are being put into the iPhone X. More specifically, you no longer having to write a password now that your face has become your password. The previous iPhones had an option where you could use your thumbprint. They're going with this biometrics system. And a lot of people are joking online. You know how it starts. There's always the petty little drama that goes on through social media. People talking about like, oh, well, now I'm gonna find out my boyfriend's cheating on me. I'm gonna just scan his face. I'm gonna be able to unlock his phone. People making the silly memes or whatever. But let's get serious for a second here. When I look at this feature where they have you basically make animated emoji, the technique that's used for it is facial mapping technology, which has been around for a while. I mean, and the video games have really been one of the first places I've seen it in consumer-based electronics, or I guess software. Video games. I remember the first time I saw it was NHL 2000, where you could take a picture of somebody's face and you could make your own character. And you just had to make sure you mapped out the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Now you had to manually do it, and for the most part, it wasn't that good. But it was available. It kind of worked. That was almost 20 years ago. NHL 2000 came out in 1999, so yeah, 18 years. 18 years, give or take. So that's improved a lot. And you could tell in the video games, because now when you see the 2K games, from just, it's not even that they take a picture of you, or you have to put a picture in, because that's what it used to be. You used to have to upload a picture into it, or take a photo, and then, put it up there, and then it would kind of automatically do it. But now it's, especially with the Kinect and the PlayStation View and all that stuff, they can see you perfectly. And the cameras and the algorithms and everything have gotten very good, where they already know what you look like pretty much before you even put yourself on there. Almost to the point where it makes you think, is there a database that they're using these facial recognitions to be like, oh, that's that person right there? It starts to make you think like just how good this stuff has gotten. Is there help? Has there been help to make this more realistic? And that's, a question a lot of people have, because, as these things, as technology progresses, what people got to realize is, breakthroughs and innovations they're not what you think. You know what I'm saying? Like, when artificial intelligence, like I was saying in my last video, like people really think artificial intelligence is like some kind of magical thing that they can't grasp their mind around. It's like, no, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. Basically, to make an autonomous robot, right? It's not really that difficult, especially if it already has sensors on it. You tell it, basically, you program the robot, conditionally to say, okay, look, if you go this far, right? If you come within 100 feet of an object, turn around. If you come within X amount of feet of this object, turn this way, turn that way. And they basically make it, and they test it a bunch of times to make sure that they've taken care of each condition that it needs to. But that doesn't mean that the robot itself is thinking this. Somebody wrote the script and gave you the illusion that the robot is doing what it wants to do. And we've gotten to a point where we know where we've understood ourselves. See, and that's the thing about this technology, is technology comes from a knowledge of self. We wouldn't be able to make artificial intelligence if we couldn't understand ourselves. So it's through understanding ourselves that we're able to make artificial technology. But anyway, that's beside the point. Are there databases that 2K taps into when it first runs over your face, where it compares other pictures of you to, get a better idea of what you look like? Are there databases full of pictures of you that you don't know about, that are being checked over and cross-referenced and mapped together to get the best picture of you? Because when you do it in a 2K now, it looks just like you now. I remember the first few times, it didn't look like the people, but now it does. Now when we go to the talking, the voice activated technology, it used to be horrible back in the day, but now it works. And you got to ask yourself the question, is it improving because it's been collecting data on you, and now it's had 9,000 recordings of your conversation, and now it's like, okay, I better recognize what you're saying now. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times, this is how this technology works, is it cross-references other things that it's been collecting. That's kind of how data mining works. And metadata mining is, the idea is uncorrelating data all connects in some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like from your search engine, or from the stuff that you anticipate buying on Amazon.com, can that correlate to, are you going to have a heart attack tomorrow? Or are you going to try to rob a bank? Or are you going to try to, it starts beginning to predict your behavior. And a lot of people think well, what me buying on Amazon.com, me buying, an Amazon Echo have to do with, will I have diabetes in 5 years? All these things are connected because it's cross-referencing all these things that don't seem related, but they are. And you got to beg yourself the question is, as this technology is improving, is it just cross-referencing databases and metadata that we didn't exactly consent for it to know in the first place? And are we further signing away our freedoms and our sovereignty and our minds and our social identity, our individuality, by opting in? Because it's all voluntary. You don't have to go buy the iPhone X. But everybody that buys the iPhone X is already pretty much agreeing that, hey, Apple, whatever I say, whatever I do, my face, everything, it now belongs to you. So yeah, it's cool to, have the poop emoji talking, and it mouths the same stuff that you do, the same way that, Snapchat's using it, the same way you use the Snapchat face filter lens, and, it gives you a nice little face. And you remember before, it was, it didn't work. It didn't work that well, but now it glues itself to your face, and it gives the illusion that you're wearing a mask. Now, you got to ask yourself, what is the purpose for them using face mapping technology that well? Am I really here to, do I really want to sit here and believe that you wouldn't use my face for identifying me, especially now that you're basically pushing me to do that? Are you spying on me? You know what I'm saying? That's the question that you got to be asking these tech companies and these devices. Are they spying on me? Why is it that when I use a certain app, my microphone and my camera are activated? Who is watching me? What are they doing with this information that they're collecting? Because through all these different leaks, you know that the NSA is spying on you. You know that all these different things are spying on you. Your browser's using your your uh your search engine history and the cookies from Amazon.com to make specific advertisements for you when you go on Facebook. All these algorithms work together. Not only that, Facebook knows where the face is. It selects it, right? I took a picture on this iPhone. This is the iPhone SE. Is not even that nice of an iPhone. It's a glorified iPhone 5. When I updated to the newest operating system, it recognizes individually each face from a group photo. It knows each face from a group photo. It already knows who's who. It's already telling you that's that person. And then when you cross-reference it with the Facebook databases, now you can identify somebody from a random picture that's in your phone, right? You don't even have to upload it on to Facebook anymore. Facebook has access to your camera and to your photographs because you consented to it when you agreed to go on Messenger, when you agreed to use the Facebook app. You agreed to it when you press terms and conditions, when you agreed to all this stuff. So it's already happening. But the question is, how far has it gotten, right? Because all these things were always spying on you. Your smartphone, if you got a smart TV, it's spying on you. These things were always spying on you, but has this gone to another level? Has this gone to a level where it's like creepy? Like, is iPhone gonna start telling you what you can and can't do through your phone? Is your iPhone gonna see that you're somewhere that it doesn't want you to be and just stop working? If you are at, one of these protests in St. Louis, is your iPhone gonna shut down when you're trying to live stream what's going on, when you're trying to record what's going on? Is your iPhone gonna say, hey, shut down? Can it be given a button are they gonna be given kill switches to iPhones when they go in certain areas? You gotta be asking yourself these questions because these are very real questions to be asking. Is the iPhone X straight spying on you? Are the new features that it's bringing in, do they make sense for what phones can do now? Have they updated themselves to true innovative technology? And the answer in short is no. You might believe that it is because for the past, I want to say since the iPhone 4, they've really been pity-patting, like they haven't been innovative. They've been really releasing the same exact phone over and over and over, putting a new thing in it for money. It's become a monetary based thing. Through capitalism, it has stunted the growth of the technology. So when they decide to give you something that they had 6 years ago, what they should have made the original, I see what the iPhone X is, that should have been the iPhone 5 or 6, because they shouldn't have come out with a new iPhone until it had really been a new phone. And now that the X, it seems innovative, but it's old technology. And because they didn't release it to you in time, you think it's new. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that the iPhone X does, these Samsung Galaxies have been doing for years. But that also is beside the point. It seems to me that the innovation is not up to par with the surveillance tech that it is equipped with. And what do I mean by that? The poop emoji, being able to talk with your face, that could have been done years ago, right? But that face mapping tech that they use to make that poop emoji work to the ability that it does is definitely some new spying level stuff. And if you're a developer, you understand this. Like, people here as a consumer, they don't understand this concept that what's behind, like what's front end developed, is not what's in the back end. What's in the front end is not what's in the back end. You can hide so much of what goes on in the back end through the front end. Like, you guys have no idea that. I mean, that's how a lot of this malware and these scams happen. Is you don't know what, you can't see the source code. You don't know what's going on in the background, and that's what's really important. What's going on in the front end is for you. It's for the dummy. What's going on in the back end is how this thing really works. So on the back end, this iPhone X has technology that you can't even fathom. Like the spy technology, the surveillance technology, the microphone that they're listening to you with, the way that they're using the Wi-Fi in your house to map out everything that's going on. Like, you guys probably didn't know this, but through your Wi-Fi router and through your Wi-Fi signal, they can basically use it as a sonar type X-ray thing where they can map out your entire house, know where everything is, and basically a whole X-ray through your house with your Wi-Fi signal. But you, on your Wi-Fi, you just want to watch Netflix. You don't know that your Wi-Fi has that capability, and that's what it's doing. All you're doing is watching Netflix. All you're doing is watching something, staring at a screen, while they're conditioning you to sit there while they're spying on you, because you don't know what's going on in the back end. And that's how honeypots, that's how so many of these different types of traps of different things work. You don't know what's going on in the background because you can't see it. You're not properly equipped to understand it, number one. And number two, you're not properly equipped to even see it. For you to be able to see what your iPhone's doing in the background, you need certain tools, and you need an understanding of certain coding languages, of assembly language, of hardware, of so much stuff that the average person, number one, doesn't care about, and number two, they don't have the know-how. So, like, I'm serious, guys. Like, you really don't know the power of back end that they have in these smartphones. Like, you think that facial mapping and those cameras and everything is just like, oh, it's cool. I can make this panorama picture. I can make a piece of poop move with my mouth. And that's not even scratching the capabilities, not even scratching the surface of the capabilities of this technology. Because if you could use it on the other way, you would realize this is some, like, CIA agent level shit that you could, if you had access to this technology, you could destroy somebody with it. Like, you could really socially engineer and destroy people. And that's the thing, is there's hackers out there, there's all these different stuff. There's people already out there doing it. Except for the difference is there's a rogue hacker can only do it at a certain level. A government or a big corporation can do it on a global scale, right? So let's just hypothetically say one day your iPhone X lets off some kind of frequency. Who's to say, right? People who aren't already susceptible to hypnosis and all these different little electronic frequencies don't get hypnotized or turn into a flash mob or just, like, wild out. Like, people think that, oh, you saw that in the movie. That was Kingsman, when Samuel L. Jackson had that app that made everybody just snap and go crazy. You keep thinking that science fiction. Keep thinking that, okay? Keep thinking that frequency weapons are science fiction. 2020 is a little less than, so just a little bit more than 2 years away. Definitely less than 3 years away. So, please, I just tell y'all, like, realize the capabilities of these phones and of this technology. Please research it before you opt in to agreeing to let this stuff, like, potentially ruin your life. And people always want to make the jokes like, oh, I'll chop my arm off before I get an Android, or I'll do this before I get that. Look, it's the dumb shit like that that has people doing that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's that whole stupid idea that, oh, I'm team iPhone, I'm team this, I'm team that. Not even caring that this stuff spies on you. They just don't want to get caught dead with the other phone because they don't want to experience the social backlash of it. I mean, anybody that's a developer or anybody that knows anything about technology understands the iPhone is really just a glorified spying device. It's pretty much what it is. And I mean, so are Androids, but I mean, at least you can potentially take out that back door. And there's a lot of stuff you could customize with your Android. But even that, even your Android, I mean, it's spying on you too. And we've really gotten to a point where we gotta start asking ourselves, like, yo, what is the real capabilities of these phones and what's going on in the back end? Because I can't stress it enough, guys. Like, next time you go, I said this in a lot of my videos. Next time you go on some website, click view source. You will be surprised of what is actually behind your web page. And if you actually understand, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all that stuff, you can see sometimes hackers put stuff in your website. They put backdoors and stuff that you didn't even know, and they're watching you through your web camera. You can activate somebody's web camera through a JavaScript script very easily. It's not hard to do at all. But the person that's on the website, they can't read that. And even if they do click view source, they don't know that's what that script does. They have no idea. And you gotta really sit here and think, like, is your iPhone not doing the same thing? Like Windows computers, desktop computers are full of backdoors. And that's why they're the easiest system to hack. Like, they're not safe at all. Don't do anything sketchy on a Windows computer. Don't put anything, unless you have a VPN, don't put anything sensitive on a Windows computer, especially not Windows 10. It's very easy to get your information stolen because there's backdoors everywhere. Same thing with your iPhone and your Android. They're full of backdoors that the NSA has. NSA has so many backdoors in all of your equipment, and you just don't know about it because you can't understand it. You can't even begin to understand it. You can't even begin to understand what it implies to have a backdoor. Like, somebody could really come, take over, and hackers do it all the time. Somebody could really come over, take over your phone, videotape you doing something you didn't want them to see, or they can even plant stuff on you. Hackers do it. There's they call them black hat hackers. There's black hat hackers out there that they make a living doing that, putting child pornography on somebody's phone or in somebody's computer, getting them arrested. There's people that make a living off of doing stuff like that, all right? And that's just rogue hackers. You don't want to think of a conglomerate of people who've been legitimized and have been hiding this stuff in plain view for decades. So imagine what they would want to do. I mean, look, there's people out there. That dark web is something nasty, man. You don't even want to know some of the stuff that's going on. And I know a lot of people out there, they just joke around like, oh, it's a little bit of child pornography, a little bit of people selling drugs in these weird marketplaces, and a lot of honeypots and assassins. Like, oh, that stuff, that's child's play, man. And even that stuff's horrible. Like, listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying these little petty fetishes and like drugs and stuff, that's child's play compared to what's really in the deep depths of the dark web, man. You do not want to know what can happen to you. And I'm saying that's just rogue groups of people. Imagine what the military can do to your phone if you're an enemy combatant. Just think about that. They will find you and you will be done in quick, man. Like, especially if you have a iCloud, Apple ID, a Facebook. They got you, bro. These things are surveilling you like crazy. So to the question, is the iPhone 10, iPhone X, whatever you want to call it, is it a glorified spying device? Yeah, it is, okay? Now, I would challenge anybody who's developed this iPhone 10, iPhone X, whatever it is, please, I don't know if you sign non-disclosure agreements, but please let the people know out there, especially the developers out there. Please let the average person know the back doors that are on these devices, because it's dangerous, all right? It's real dangerous out there. Not even just like about the government spying on you, because the average person really does not have to worry about that. Like, a lot of you out here on, the conscious community, y'all a joke. Nobody's watching you. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not a real threat to the government. If anything, you're working for them. So if you're thinking that, oh yeah, I posted some hashtag woke status on my Twitter, bro, they're not watching for you. They're looking for real active people. Don't end up, you know what I'm saying? Don't end up on one of them things, bro. Especially if you got one of these. You're already being watched, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, that's not to say that, these governments or the surveillance tech is all powerful, but I will say, like, yo, if you've opted into these agreements and you're using these platforms, don't be surprised if something happens to you and you try to make a certain move. I'll just leave it at that. All right? Don't be surprised if you plan something and it gets foiled ASAP because you have an iPhone X and you have it connected to your Facebook and your Instagram and your Twitter and your Snapchat, and you've been using Snapchat filters, the dog filter and all that stuff, and they know exactly what you look like and they know where you're going, because all you got to do is this, right? I've done it a million times. I've noticed it. I don't say anything anymore though, right? Just have a conversation about something, right? Then go pull up your phone to go search it in the Google. I promise you, once you put the first word of it, it will be the second selection. That's no coincidence. Your phone was listening to you. No coincidence at all. Try that next time, right? Have a conversation like, oh, talk about like, I don't know, like baseball cards or something, right? And talk about a specific baseball card. As soon as you type in the first word that's anywhere near linked to that, I promise you, the first three selections are literally the thing that you're looking for, because they understand that they can freak you out, make you think that this thing is all knowing and all powerful, and all it's doing is listening to you, right? And you just have a short memory. That's all it does, is listen to you. I mean, I do it all the time, and people think I'm like some kind of, like, I predict things or I'm some kind of prophetic guy. Like, no, I just listen. I just remember what you said. And so later on, when you come back and you say something, you might not remember you said it, but I do. So now you think I'm on to something magical. I mean, like, look, man, it's cold reading 101. Like, there's just so much that goes over people's head because they don't pay attention, because they don't remember what they said. They don't pay attention to what they say. All right? So this technology is not some kind of all-powerful, all-magic thing, but do remember, you have a choice whether you use it or not. And I would strongly recommend that you understand the risks that are being taken in when you click I agree. Just remember that there's risks being taken when you click I agree. So if you're getting that iPhone X, don't do it to yourself, you know what I'm saying? Just like, if you're some average, going to 9 to 5, walking, doing whatever, you're not gonna rebel, you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do that, go ahead, go get that iPhone X, man. Just go be everyone else. Go spend $1,000 on a glorified spying device, all right? But if you're not, right, I really commend people. We gotta start building our own technology, man, without all these backdoors to the NSA. Okay? We gotta start that, all right? So I'm just